Ever heard of Tadej Pogačar? Well, if you haven't, then you're probably living under a rock. But I'm leaner than Tadej Pogačar. That might sound like a bold statement. Well, it might. But I'm not saying that I do the same power necessarily. Well, not yet. I'll keep the training going. But I'm leaner than Tadej Pogačar. Now, it's a bit hot in here, so I think I'll change into something a bit more comfortable, and you'll be able to see underneath my high-vis top that I'm very lean. And it's no secret to how I've managed to get myself so lean, and I'll show you on the most rickety table in the world some of the foods that I eat and the breakdown of how tall is Poggy, what's his weight, how tall I am, what my weight is currently, and was it a secret or some crazy new fad diet? Well, the answer is no. It was done in a very healthy way. Didn't restrict calories, but we'll get onto that in a moment. So I'll just move this out the way without falling over and breaking. So as you can see, I'm very lean, and I'm like this all the time. And you can see that I'm not short. I'm not leaner than Pogačar because I'm shorter than him. I'm actually taller than him. So I'll bring in the rickety table, the most wobbly rickety table ever built. So I'll show you what weight Pogačar is and versus me. So I'll do a big pig. So Pogačar weighs, if you go and look up on Pro Cycling Stats, I think it is. So he weighs 66 kilos apparently, and is 5 foot. I'll do it underneath and not space there. So he apparently is 5 foot 9 and a half. So 5 feet inches. So apparently that's what he is, and I am. So mysterious rider. Who am I? So we'll do it underneath. So for Banana Boy, that's who I am. Banana Boy, BD. This morning I weighed 63.9 kilos, and I'll put a little clip in. The lighting's not great, but you'll be able to see I stood on a scale this morning and I weighed myself. And I'm 5 foot 11. So I'm leaner than Pogačar, but I'm taller than him. And how did I do that? How am I leaner than Pogačar? Well, as you can see, I do like to ride the bike a lot. I like to ride the road bike a lot. So yeah, I do train, but do I do as much as the best rider in the world right now? As much training? Well, probably not, because he has been a professional for a number of years. So he's been able to, I suppose you'd say, maximize the amount of time he spent on the bike, whereas for me, I haven't been professional my whole life. But how did I do this? Well, it's the diet. It's about diet. It's not about exercise. If you eat the wrong diet, but exercise let's say you exercise as much as you might work, so 40 hours a week, you'll still not be lean enough. So I'll put my glasses on so that I can hear you better. So my go-to food, my staple food that I have for breakfast, essentially for breakfast, lunch and tea, is rice, white rice. And I have that with tomato sauce that I make up with herbs and spices. And I have that every day because I enjoy that and I can eat that every day. And I don't need to go looking for other foods that might make me gain weight. So on the back here, it gives you the breakdown of the macronutrients. And as you can see on here, it says per 100 grams, so we've got fat here, less than half a gram per 100 grams. So that's dry weight. So essentially, you know, when you cook white rice, it essentially goes about 3 times the size. So for me, a serving for breakfast might be about 150 to 200 grams, about 150 grams, let's say, of dry weight. So just times that by 3. So yeah, I'm getting less than a gram of fat. Essentially my 3 main meals that I would have. So that's what we'll say, a gram of fat. And on top of that, I like to have stuff like this. So sweets, gummy sweets like this. And again, if you look at the fat on the back there, you can see that. Again, it's less than half a gram of fat per 100 grams. So this is a 200 gram bag, so there's a gram of fat in that. Why do I keep mentioning fat with these foods that are very high in carbohydrate? Well, you would say, well, surely it's these foods are going to make me fat, you know, if they've got lots of carbohydrate in them. That's what makes you fat. Well, as you can see, I'm not, am I? So in terms of the proportion of the 3 macronutrients that we talk about to be important for weight, we have fat, so I tend to eat, well, less than that, more like that much. And carbohydrate, I eat a lot of that. And protein, I never worry about it. It just is in the foods that I eat, like the rice. So for example, with this, 8.1 grams of protein per 100 grams. So, and I'm eating a lot of rice, so I don't need to worry. But why is it important to have these 3 macronutrients in this sort of proportion? I.e. lots of carbohydrate, not much fat, and protein fairly low. So a number of people that, so if we say, you know, 100 grams of protein, I would say that that's too much, really, if you're looking to be like me or Pogačar, lean like that. If you want to look like Pogačar, or me, he obviously has the watts. You know, if he's the most, you know, powerful, best cyclist, professional cyclist on the road at the moment, you know, he can still improve. He could still be leaner, couldn't he, maybe? You know, if I'm leaner than him, and I'm taller, and I'm not deficient in protein, am I? So, why is this important? Well, if you want to lean down for endurance sports or road cycling, then you want to make your body less anabolic, because an anabolic state leads to being heavier, doesn't it? So if you want to go to the gym and add weight to your body, lots of protein. So if you have a lot of protein and fat, this makes the body more anabolic. So protein and fat leads to a more anabolic state because, and why is that? Because insulin, it's about insulin. So when you're eating these foods that are got a lot of fat and protein in, it means that the sensitivity to insulin is less. So therefore you essentially have high levels of insulin in the body more often if you are eating high levels of protein and fat. So your body becomes more anabolic because insulin is more anabolic than testosterone. Okay? Can you remember that? So how do I look like the way I do with lots of C carbohydrates and not much fat and not much protein? Well, because my anabolic state is less, my insulin sensitivity is higher, and therefore I don't have high levels of insulin more often in the blood, in the body, because I have lots of carbohydrate and not much protein and not much fat. So lots of carbohydrate and not much protein, not much fat. Less anabolic, more insulin sensitivity, higher insulin sensitivity. Now, I say I've got other videos on the channel explaining this before, but essentially, if you're not sold on that being the case, then just look at me. You know, I say I'm 63.9 kilos this morning. This is February 2025, and eating this way, you know, rice with fruit and pasta, you know, just essentially the foods that are naturally low in fat, and it's not difficult really once you realize maybe that, oh well, the foods that are high in carbohydrate quite often are naturally low in fat, and therefore you don't need to worry about, well, I can't have bread or pasta or rice, because as you can see, I'm lean, and I'm always lean as long as I eat like this. So rice, sweets, bread, pasta, fruit juice, these sorts of foods. And I test it on myself, and you can see I'm leaner than Pogačar. Although the watts, as I say, I'll keep the training going. Maybe one day I'll be at 6.5 watts per kilo for my threshold, but who knows? You'll see me winning the Tour de France one day maybe. Anyway, I hope you liked the video and this helped. You know, like and subscribe, and I'll have other videos on how I eat for training and how I stay lean and still fuel myself and not worry about carbohydrates making me fat or calorie restricting. So I say I eat as much of these foods that I recommend, because I test it on myself, and every single time I'm lean every day. And you'll see in the videos concurrently, if you watch them, I'm always lean. Yeah. So hope you liked the video. Hope you learned something new maybe. You know, if you put in the comments what you want to see, what information maybe you're not sure about. Why can't I lose weight? well, you will. Trust me. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.